Okay, I especially like this new batch. It's a mix and match of color. I'm going to try to do a family set soon where they have the same fabrics, but it's different configurations so that the family can tell which one's mask is, whose mask is whose. Okay, and some of these are going to New Jersey and some of these are going to Hawaii. And thanks to everyone who made their purchases. Looking forward to sending you your masks. I promised some of you guys a video on how to make bias tape. The first thing you need to do when you're going to make bias tape is to have evenly cut strips of fabric. And bias tape is better with a softer fabric. And so I'm going to use this because it's a thinner fabric. So, when you make bias tape, you can cut your fabric with a pair of scissors, a rotary cutter, or one of these automated doodads that I happen to have here. So, I'm going to use the automated doodad, but next time I will show you how to use a rotary cutter. First I have to find my cutters though. I have a whole bunch of them somewhere. You can never find them when you want them. So let's turn this on. Okay. So now it's on. And basically these things are actually made to do bias tape. It's made for people who want to make their own bias tape. I have never had a reason to use it before, and I tested it out and made this ribbon, and the ribbon hung around the house forever, and I never actually used it. But now all of a sudden I have a need to make bias tape because elastic is in short supply. I don't know if you know that, because everybody's making masks. So here we go. Just like this, and it practically feeds itself just like a sewing machine, and you just cut strips. So I'm going to cut a whole bunch of strips, but I won't have you watch the whole thing. Next step in making bias tape is to join all of your strips together. This is not really necessary for the mask, but it does help you to maximize the amount of materials you have access to, or maximize the use of your materials. And it also helps to reduce the work when you're making the tape, and I'll show you what I mean. So first of all, you put one strip right side up going that way, and one strip wrong side up going this way, and you're going to sew from this corner to this corner in a diagonal. So I'll show you what I mean after I'm done. Okay, so this is the bias tape like this, and I'm not going to trim it now. I'm just going to sew the rest of the strips together, and I'll trim it all at once. Okay, so this is what you end up with, a really long strip, and now it's time to trim it, and you'll see the advantage of doing it this way when I get to working on it. So it's really long, right? Here I'm just trimming it so that I don't have a lot of little flappy pieces around. Now this bias tape, I'm going to use it if I had more time to do the cutting, because if I wasn't doing a video, it would probably be straighter, just so you know. Probably, but I'm a hacky kind of person, so anyway, so here we go. So you see how long this strip is? Each of these strips is 36 to 40 inches long, sometimes even 45, because I cut it along the width of the fabric, and that's what the fabric lengths are, right? see how long this is. So again, you could decide to do it however you want. Originally what I was doing is I was just not even bothering to sew them together. I was just making the bias tape. Okay, so now we need the little bias tape maker doodad. Okay, and what we've done when we sewed them together is we've saved the additional work of having to feed it in every time you come to a strip end. So you might decide that that is not enough savings in time for you, so you just want to cut your strips and use them. But also you get a little bit of extra because the ties for the masks are about 36, I've been measuring them at 36 inches. And when you do this, you can get a few extra inches out of each strip, which might not be that big a deal on one strip, but over time, you know, it could add up. I'll show you what I mean. And then I'm just going to show you up until the first connection point so you can see what that looks like. So the bias tape maker helps to make the pressing easier, right? I suppose some of you guys might say, well, Trish, that's not really how you make it. Well, Squiggle Mom, that's not really how you use the bias tape maker. I'll say that's how I use this bias tape maker. So you might want to look that up and see if there are other people who are using it more effectively than I am. Okay, so almost there. So here we are at the intersection, right? The intersection right here, and we just pull it through just like we always do, and we fold it and we continue on. But that little thing has saved us a little time that would normally be spent doing the adjustment, right? Okay. So we fold this, and then we press it, right? So this is good, right? And then we just have a nice long strip. And then what I do is I cut it into 36-inch strips because that's how long I make the headbands. And then I tie off the ends after I do it. So having these ready, I always make enough for about 5 or 6 masks at the same time. So you see this is a little soggy here, and some people might think that's a big deal. I don't. Just so you know what you get when you buy my work. I've designed what I think is a cool mask. So I hope you like the mask, for those of you who have gotten them. It's pretty awesome, I personally think. And again, I went through several prototypes very quickly in making this, and so I'm kind of pleased. You know, we might still evolve. We're going to do some process evolution to try to speed things up so that I can make more than 8 or 9 or 10 in a day, because honestly, that's kind of slow, right? That's, you know, we try to make the mask affordable for you guys, so, but sometimes you need to make more than $10 an hour. Okay, anyway, that's how to make bias tape. Right, so here is a nice long piece of bias tape, probably about 10 feet long, maybe even 20 feet long. And then all I'm going to do now is cut them into 3-foot lengths. And I have my yardstick here, and we're just going to measure it on the yardstick. And then that's 3 feet. And then I'm just going to fold it and fold it and fold it and fold it until I run out, which is pretty long. So you see the measurement doesn't have to be perfect because, again, it's a strap, right? But we want it to be kind of close, right? So let's see how many we got out of this. We'll cut this one off, then cut, snip, 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 and then over on this side, snip, 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 snip. So we just made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straps. That's it. So that's straps for 4 masks. And we still have to make more bias tape for if we're doing the top and the bottom of the rims, the mask rim, and also for the ties, right, for the nose bridge. Okay, that's it. How to make bias tape.